Welcome to Opinions. The rules are simple. Step forward if you've done it, and stay where you are if you haven't. Have fun!
I think it's obvious that cabin crew actually go for branded goods. When cabin crew fly to Milan or like a Europe country, they will go to branded goods. They are materialistic, but I would say not everyone.
I believe that in any job you're in, right, as long as you're paid well, right, it will bring out that side of you. So I don't think it's just related to cabin crew. We are paid relatively well, so I think they are buying things that are not above their means. I think it's perfectly fine.
It's all based on individual. But then again, I would say that it's quite competitive to be flying, because once you see someone bought something with their own money, that's where you think like, I need to be on the same par with them, like on top of them or something.
Maybe back in the day that could have been the thing, but right now I would say that they're more maybe narcissistic or shallow in certain regards, just so that they can do their flights, have their status as being like, you know, I'm that girl with the French twist looking good, and I can, like, you know, take my Instagram pic, I can do my TikTok video there, I'm all over the world, look at me, getting my money, doing my thing. But you know, there's real problems that people are going through, but you're gonna overlook all that. So not materialistic, but narcissistic.
I'm very good at blocking like toxicity in a way whereby I just don't care about it, so I just don't engage myself in it. I love flying, and I'm just gonna be here doing what I love. That's it.
I definitely feel like it is subjective, but I feel like in certain companies there's an institutionalized toxicity within the airlines. The higher ups, they just allow a lot of manipulation, gaslighting, even hazing sometimes with regards to training. They would do horrible things and you're expected to just like accept it and just go with the flow just because you're getting paid.
Good answer.
I wouldn't say it's a toxic culture. There are toxic people in any industry that you go to. So the top 10 people, those would be the toxic culture.
I was on my very first training flight. Back then, I was not good with makeup, with hair and everything. So I was kind of like targeted on. When I was doing meal service with her, she was screaming at me in the cabin just because I couldn't say Japanese. Why can't you speak proper English? You're from Malaysia, right? I was like, huh? What has it got to do with, you know, my work and things like that?
I think my story is quite similar to hers. However, she was just like, look at my forehead. Do not disturb. Anything, report to C2. I'm like, alright, sure. And at the end of the flight, as we were exiting the aircraft, right, then she was just like, wow, junior crew nowadays, no respect, don't know how to thank after the flight one. Wow, I walked out, I was just like, thank you so much for the flight. And immediately blacklist her name on my little black book.
For me, I'm quite lucky. If I meet those people that like to abuse their power, they'll go and target my colleagues instead of me. So I'm quite safe. As a crew on board, you just have to look confident, then people won't come and really disturb you.
When passengers are drunk and they ask for more drinks, we try to serve them a little bit slower than we should. Honestly, it's not like they're going to remember when they ask for it. They're just going to keep asking for it until they get a drink.
I feel like at the end of the day, they are not paying our salary. So I try not to, even though I'm busy, I try not to. But unintentionally, maybe, but I don't recall.
There's this passenger that asks for snacks. So what we usually do is we'll put different types of snacks on a serving tray. He only wanted the potato chips. So when he took the potato chips, the bag of almond and cashew actually dropped on his bag. It was a night flight, so the cabin was very dark. So my first instinct was to pick up the bag of almond and cashew. And when I was picking up almond and cashew, I picked up something else too.
Oh my god.
Okay, I remember I was doing this flight to Hong Kong. The flight was quite busy, so I didn't have time to go to the toilet. So when I went to the toilet, I actually pulled my zipper too hard, then the whole thing broke. So now our pants is navy blue. and my underwear is like red color. And like, you know, I tried to cover it, I tried to ignore it because I was too tired to bother. Hopefully people don't see lah, but I saw some of the passengers looking and smiling.
I was serving the coffee and tea, you know, and there's this small little tray that we will place the cup on to pass it to passengers so that in case there's a turbulence, right, the coffee spills on the tray. I passed it to her already, so she tried to place the coffee at the side, so it toppled over and it spilled all over my foot. And the first thing I could do was just scream in front of everyone. It was a full flight. But after that, no one asked for hot drinks like during that flight. Like they were all so like horrified.
I got slapped quite hard on the neck here. Also sexually assaulted by one passenger. He kept grabbing me on my ass. Yeah. Every time I walk past, he just grab. I mean, if he was good looking, I wouldn't mind.
You know, some of our crew seats, we are in front, directly in front of the passenger. So there was this passenger that was taking a photo of me. There was this lady sitting behind him. She saw it, so she was telling me, hey, the guy is taking photo of you. The seatbelt sign is on already. I had to sit there for 30 minutes just for him to take the freaking photo of me, and I couldn't do anything. Normally I would be very confrontational, but I couldn't, so I approached my leading, and thankfully my leading protected me. She really went all out and said, hey, you have no right to take photo of my phone, show me your phone. I want to see your recently deleted and all that. So thankfully it was handled very well lah.
I remember it was a very early morning flight and I was called up very last minute. This passenger grabbed my ass for more than 5 times, but I was just so tired. The first few times when it happened, it didn't occur to me as he was sexually assaulting me. I thought it was accidental, like when they're all seated, their elbow bump into us quite often, and I thought it was just accidental. But then my partner saw that he was really just grabbing my ass. I told my supervisor about it. I didn't get quite positive feedback like that. Chief actually told me that you should be feeling very good about yourself because passenger want to grab your ass. And then I just sit in the galley and started crying because I don't know what to do.
Okay, this is gonna be a bit mean. So I still remember, I think I was flying to Dubai and there's this junior crew. And then I was like, hey, this one can be cabin crew. It was a bit mean lah, but I realized they are not as strict anymore. When that point of time, I remember like one Poye has a lot of batches.
If you look at it in the service kind of way, I don't think it has really dropped. Because, I mean, we all came from the same like factory. We came from the training school, so basically that's what I think.
Stop lying. Don't lie.
Come on!
Too stressed to judge. Maybe like quickly, I might have judged for like the first go, but then whenever I catch myself, I try to not judge, you know. But most of the time, I'm too stressed, probably, especially during the first year of flying, to even think of like appearance that's so trivial.
I'm pretty sure almost all of us here would walk into the briefing room, scan everybody, and be like, oh, I think she looks like she could be a bitch. And then you try to stay away from her.
I think our job scope, right, the girls and the guys are trained a little bit differently. Ever since we stepped into the training center, right, we have to be very focused on our looks. Like we have to do makeup every day, we have to have very neat hair. Because of this practice every single day, right, it will definitely make us more vain and we are more prone to picking up appearances that are flawed. It might not be in a bad way. It's just like, hey, I'm just looking out for you also because we want to standardize the standard of the makeup or the hair.
I think it's just very difficult to date a crew because we all don't have the same type of flying patterns. So it's a bit difficult, so I would try to stay away from that.
My best relationship was when I was dating a crew. Like every flight felt like it was a vacation. There was like a month where our roster was like almost identical. A lot of effort though. A lot of effort.
You did the control center there.
I just don't like the vibes that I get from other crews because I've always heard stories about crews cheating. Even though they're married, they cheat. So I don't really find the loyalty in crews. Yeah.
Most of us are actually always flying with relatively attractive people. So I've seen many crew who are married overseas. They are trying to flirt with some of the leading chief. I don't know. Yeah, so I think it's very common.
I was in Maldives, and Maldives we have a pool. And then this guy suddenly just sharing that he just had a firstborn. And somehow he just suddenly came to me and then hugged me kind of thing. Of course I pushed him away. I'm like, dude, you just had a newborn, what are you doing? And then he's like, oh, what happens in Maldives stays in Maldives. I'm like, okay, and I just walked away, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's very common. It exists, but I think it's only like that few people who actually do it. But I wouldn't say like in general, like everyone actually do it.
My personal experience is the captain had my number for some reason. He tried to ask me to leave my room and go to his room to spend a night. But obviously I rejected. The best thing is that I wasn't going back with him, so I just blocked his number.
For me, I've seen like pilots, you know, they always try to organize drink session. They will tell me, hey, you go and ask all the stewardess, you know. Very obvious that they are trying to see after a few drinks. I see some of them try to get touchy towards the stewardess. Then the stewardess are like, help me. Then like, how? I cannot offer myself to him also.
Personally, I've never encountered any pilots trying. I think because I started flying when I was very young, the pilots were more of like a father figure to me. Like they really took care of me like their own daughter. Not in a very dirty way, I really.
It's the same as, you know, like there are a few bad apples in the bunch lah. It happened to me personally on a Moscow flight. This particular captain just kept texting me to go out, to go for drinks. So I told him like, you know, I don't feel like drinking and I'm not comfortable. Then I'm gonna cook like curry lah, vegetable, cabbage, everything. Then it's like, can you hug the cabbage for me? Apparently, he's married lah, this guy, with a Taiwanese stewardess in the same airline. Yeah, so they do try to plant the seeds and see which one grows. Yeah. I know, I should change my answer. Because the interview was quite bad. So yeah, you actually need your brains during the interview already. So
Like if someone was super attractive, especially if she's a beautiful female, like she could be trained.
You can't just be a dumb blonde and enter the company. You have to like know some characteristics of the company before you can join. Like the interview is a big part of where they know you can actually handle passengers or not.
During our interview, we have this debate round where we have to disagree or agree to a topic sentence that they ask us. I feel that if you personally am very aggressive or very like strong on your point, you most likely won't get hired. I went to this interview with this girl. She didn't even complete her sentence, but she was very calm. She still got in. I think in any way, right, they want someone that is easier to groom than someone that is so outspoken that might, you know, argue with the passenger in any way. Yeah.
I feel that maybe before COVID, I kind of like took this job for granted, as in security sense. Like I never thought that I might or might not have the chance to like be fired.
On paper, everything was perfect, but personally, mentally, I'm not doing fine. So if it came to COVID, it's not a big deal. Like if I have to go, I have to go.
As a cabin crew, you're used to like a certain amount of salary every month. My life is already like fixed in that way, like oh I need to save this amount, I have this amount to spend, so not enough to survive for me. Actually, I'm working as an inspector for MOM. I'm doing some foreign worker dormitories like inspection.
I took up a lot of part-time jobs, like I do Grab Hitch, Ride Pool, I do deliveries. Weirdly, I have some people asking for food pictures and I get paid for that, so I'm like, I'm happy with that. Yeah. Apparently they like my free art, so that's all.